What's up? What's up? How you guys doing? Let me just share this stream with my members. One sec. Yeah, we'll definitely take a look at Most. I know Most made some nice moves since the last analysis, so we'll definitely take a look at that. Hey, what's up? What's up, Hugh? Morning. What's up, Ben? Yeah, okay, let's take a look at Aerodrome. Okay. So this is Aerodrome right here. Aerodrome Finance. Looks pretty good. It looks like there's going to be bullish divergence here just by looking at the market structure here. I can already tell that there's going to be bullish divergence here because, and the reason I know that is because the price is creaking down, but the range is very tight. You guys see that? And then we see bullish divergence right here. So we have lower lows here and then higher lows. So it's likely we're going to see a pop up from here. This kind of looks like an ending diagonal as well. So maybe this is your A. This is your 5 waves down in your A. So your 5 waves down. You have your ABC up. And then you have another 5 down within this ending diagonal. So what I'm thinking is this could be your A wave. You have your B and then your C wave like this. And what we can also do is take a fib from the very low here. So since the run back in July 2024 up to this high, and it's come down to the 61.8% fib here on the log scale. Okay, if we measure it from this low, it's come down to the 702. So usually when you have very tight ranges like this, even though you're printing bullish divergence on the RSI, you would still want to give the room some trade and expect it to have a little bit of a throw over. So usually when you have falling wedges, especially in crypto, people tend to go max long. And what the price likes to do is it likes to break out, fake out all of these people who went long, flush right down for your throw over, and then continue up in the opposing direction, right? So always give the trade room whenever you spot falling wedges or ending diagonals. But yeah, Aerodrome looks good. It has come down to the 702 on the log scale. Let's just remove all of these other fibs here so you guys can see. So around here is where I would be expecting a bounce to come in. And then we could say that the 786s are bullish invalidation. So if we start getting weekly closes below this level, then we know that a bullish scenario would be invalidated. Invalidation right there. And then this looks like your A, B, C, right? Your A, this is your okay, and then what we can also do is take a fib from this high back here in December down to our expected low. So we'll just put it halfway. So in between the 702 and the 786. Because we don't know if the bottom is over here or if it's going to come down a bit. So we'll just put it halfway like this just to get a rough estimate on the Fibonacci retracement levels. So yeah, here are all the fibs. If this were to pop off here, we would be taking a look at this target right here at $1.84 to $1.98. So a little bit over a 2x. And then if you get over this 786, then it's very likely we're going to take out this these equal highs over here at 233. You know, this structure actually reminds me a lot like INJ before it blasted. Let's take a look at INJ over here. I think back in 2023, it did the same structure because I remember taking this trade. Let me see here. Right here. Very similar structure here. So this is INJ reaccumulation structure. Let me just see if let me just see if this is similar here. Yeah, it looks pretty similar. You have equal highs right here. You have a move back to range lows, from this high, from your first peak. Then you creak your way up to the top of the range, and then slam back down, but not all the way down. It just comes down to here. It just comes down to like around this level. And then off we went. And this could be a move up to range high at 229, right? And when we take a look at the RSI for INJ, before it did that, we were printing bullish divergence similar to that of Aerodrome. So yeah, bullish on Aerodrome. Looks like it's doing the same thing as INJ did before it broke out of its reaccumulation structure. Right? And then for targets, what we can do, just take a fib from this high down to this low, and you'd want to take a look at the 1.618 and all of the major fibs above that level. Okay. On the linear scale. Right here, so be targeting 363 and 562 for Aerodrome. No problem, bro. No problem, bro. What's up? What's up? Anyway, you can take a look at Mln USD. You think we go up from here? I mean, it looks like we're carving out a bottom with the market. I wanted to point out today in this live that we have a lot of underlying strength in some coins. Like when we take a look at Litecoin, for example, we see that it's doing the exact same thing as Tell did before it blasted off by over 40%. And I actually gave that play in the Discord. Let me see if it's... Yeah, so it's already at range high here. Let's take a look at this on the daily time frame. So this is your reaccumulation structure here on Litecoin. And as you guys can see, we've been within this reaccumulation structure for almost 3 months. So this is 82 days. A nice WXY correction down to this support that we've been using as resistance since 2022. So 3 years we've been using this as resistance right here. And now and then we double tapped it right here as support. And then when we also take a look at the 200-day moving average, look where we came down to. Tap the 200-day. Now we're above the 78.6% fib. So it's very likely that we're going to see that range breakout. Okay, you can also take a look at it like this too, right? You can also take a look at it like that. And then when we take a look at Tell, did the same thing right here. And this move right here was this move right here. Now, it looks like we made our way up to these range highs, but we haven't had that full breakout. So I'm thinking Litecoin does this, has that breakout, sees some consolidation here before continuing on higher. But yeah, so like there's some underlying coins. There's some coins with a lot of underlying strength. Like when we take a look at Litecoin on the Bitcoin pair, on the 2-week time frame, bullish divergence. Right here. We'll go on the weekly. Okay, yeah, you guys see this bullish divergence here? So whenever you see the Bitcoin pair rallying, or whenever you see divergence on the Bitcoin pair, but the USD pair hasn't fully broken out, then you know the USD pair is gonna fly. Like I was taking a look at Cake Bitcoin, and the reason Cake blasted off so high in front run is simply because the downtrend ended for the Bitcoin pair, right? We have a perfect 5 waves here in a descending channel, and then you also swept this low here. The low that we swept, the same low before we outperformed Bitcoin by over 5,500% in 2021. You see how you swept it right here with this guy, and now we're seeing a front run. But yeah, so there's Litecoin, there's Tell is front running. There's some other coins that are front running, BNB, and we'll take a look at Ohm. I know, yeah, so Ohm did a nice front run. This is the reaccumulation after shakeout. This is a reaccumulation Wyckoff schematic that you tend to see. And we actually call this in the Discord right over here. This is your reaccumulation after shakeout. So I do think that we should be headed towards $12 here on Ohm. But yeah. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that, Jose. Have an amazing weekend, bro. Thank you. Anyone from RH? Yeah, bro. There's a lot of RH people in here. Richard Hart, right? Okay, let's take a look at Vchain. And then we'll take a look at some RH coins. I really like the RH ecosystem. Really good gains in there, but it's risky. Like the coins are risky because they're very volatile, but it's exciting. Like it's exciting to chart. It's really nice. But yeah, let's take a look at Vchain, and then we'll take a look at most, PulseX, and then PLS. Okay, this is Vchain. Yeah, so this is Vchain. I mean, nothing has really changed since the last analysis. This is the weekly time frame. We'll go on the daily time frame over here. We can see that it has come down to the 70.2% fib. So you had your wick. You had your wick like this, a move up, and then you came down to double tap this 702. Now there is a possibility we see a flush down to the lower fibs, maybe at 0.029 to 0.02835, and then see the push up from there. But so far it is looking good. You're going to see chop within this region. Okay, this is your chop zone. This is where you're going to see all the chop before you eventually grind your way to the upside. And like I said in the last live stream, during this chop, the retail sentiment is only going to get worse. The sentiment in the market is only going to get worse during this chop, because like I said, when people have too much time to think, when the market is moving sideways rather than going up or down, or especially moving sideways after a huge move to the downside, that's when people really go crazy, right? I mean, we've come down here 65%, and now we've just been going sideways for 19 days now. So I would just call this the chop zone. We're just going to chop around here. We may have liquidity sweeps within this range and tap these lower fibs, but ultimately, I do expect a move to the upside towards that 17 to 21 cent region. Okay, these are all the TP targets. So Vchain looks good still. It's still making higher lows. And look where we also came down to as well. So when we take a fib from this November low here up to this high, notice how we came down to this, let me see here. Yeah, we came down to the 702. When we take a look at it on the linear scale, we came down to the 786. So yeah, you may see chop within this region, but I do think that most of this downside move is already completed before we have that nice grind to the upside, or melt up, you could say. Now, when it comes to the targets, we would want to be doing two things. Well, we can take a fib from this all-time high here down to the bear market low, and then just take a look at all of these major fibs. You can also use a trend-based fib from the bottom of your trend to the top of your trend and down to the counter trend. And look where this 786 is, or this 702, at around that 48 cent region, which is also the 1.618 when we use our regular fibs from the all-time high down to the low. So we have a lot of confluence around that 43 to 48 cent level for a potential peak to come in, with the possibility of a move up here to around 70 to 94 cent. Okay, now this over here would be your TP1, simply because this is just the 702 and the 786 region. So about 19 to 20, so 17 to 21 cent, that's going to be your TP1. So you're gonna want to take partials there, and then take another good chunk here at this TP2 around the 43 to 48 cent level. Not financial advice. And then save some Vchain just in case we come up here to the 2.618 and 3.618. But yeah, Vchain is looking good so far. We had our first wave to the upside. We had our second wave, which is your counter trend. And now we need to have your continuation, right? So you have three phases in the market, right? Your uptrend, your counter trend. You may have accumulation at the lows, and you go sideways, and then you have an uptrend, right? So your uptrend, counter trend, accumulation, continuation. We did the same thing with pretty much all the coins that are front run, such as the ISO coins. But yeah, Vchain should be headed up soon. Let me see where this 200-day moving average is. Yeah, so we're just consolidating under this 200-day. The good news is that we're very close to the 200-day. Even though we're below it, we're still close to it. So that's a good sign. But yeah, this is Vchain. I think it's going to do well. It's a solid project. Pips do Dent. Yeah, we'll take a look at Dent. I'm also bullish on Matic too. Have you looked at XRP yet, bro? Yeah, I've taken a look at XRP. We'll take a look at XRP for sure. But we should do this RH ecosystem because I know a lot of people here. They want to see that. Okay, so this is PulseX over here. Now, I've always been bullish on PulseX. I remember doing videos all the way back here in May 2024. I also took part of the sacrifice before the coin was even launched. You basically, you would sacrifice your coins in exchange for PulseX tokens. I know a lot of people remember that period like 3 or 4 years ago, but now we've been within this range for about almost 2 years now. 639 days. It's just within an accumulation range. You have your A wave to the upside, and then for your B wave you have a triangle wave consisting of an A, B, C, D, and an E. And within each macro wave here, you're going to have an ABC for the subdivision of the waves, an ABC for each of the waves. Now, when we zoom in over here, we can see that we rejected off the 78.6% fib. So if we simply take a fib from this high over here down to this low, you see how we rejected off the 786 here, and then we came down to the 786 support. So now in the last live stream, I did say that this region over here would be considered your no trade zone. The reason for that is because we're so squeezed within this macro structure that the push up can happen very rapidly, not giving traders enough time to react. That's simply why I say don't trade in and out, especially now, because we're at such a critical point within the macro structure. Now, in the case where we lose 403113, then it's likely we're going to finish up this C wave of our E wave of our larger B to the downside. If it comes down here, don't panic, because it would just be this last pivot point before we have that blast to the upside. Now, in the case where, like for the bullish scenario, this level would hold and then we would get back above this level at 405039 at the 786. But so far, PulseX is looking very bullish. We can see that we've been within this accumulation structure for almost 2 years. Very nice pennant. We're also above this POC when we analyze the volume footprint from the beginning of time. You see how we're holding support off this POC? POC is basically the point of control. That's where 70% or more of the volume is has been traded. So as you can see, we're holding support here. So yeah, we should see that nice push to the upside soon. And remember, this over here would be considered our no trade zone. You don't want to trade in and out right here. These are the take profit levels. You mostly want to be aiming for the 3.618, like the 2.618 up to the 4.236. Okay, this is your safe target, right? And then the more aggressive targets would be these guys over here. Okay, and then this is your moon boy target, just in case we get that. So always save some coins aside, never sell it all. But yeah, PulseX is looking good. Let's take a look at most. Now I know most took off since the last analysis. I did say we were going to have what's called a jump across the creek, and we had that jump across right here. This was your creek, and then this was your jump across. We went up by over 106%. Going forward, what I would want to see on most is for the top of this range to hold for your backup phase. So you have your selling climax, your automatic rally, secondary test, fail breakout. This is your secondary test in phase B. And then you can also consider this like your creek. Like we creek down to the bottom of the range or mid-range, and then we have your jump across. So we actually called this live on I think 2 live streams ago, or the last live stream, we said that we were having this jump across. Went up by over 106% since. Now, as long as this structure holds right here, this top region, then we should be good for a move to the upside to around 60 cent. Okay, now all I did to find these targets is I took a fib from this all-time high down to this range low over here. 1.618 is at 40 cent, 2.618 is at 60 cent. So I would be expecting a very similar structure to that of PDI. Now usually meme coins in the same ecosystem, they usually tend to form the same structures because you have the same investor sentiment, right? So you tend to see similar patterns. But yeah, this is PDI, it's just grinding its way up. Or sorry, this is most just grinding its way up. I think 40 to 60 cent would be next, with the possibility of an 81 to 94 cent target to get hit. I just want to see this range high hold here. Quick cake update would be great. Yeah, I love cake. Everyone loves that coin. But yeah, let's take a look at cake. It's looking good. So this is cake right here. Now there's many ways we can take a look at these subwaves, right? We could still be in your wave 3. We could still be in your wave 1, right? There's many different ways we can take a look at these subwaves, and the Elliott wave count will become more clear as the price develops. But so far, what I'm thinking is that we're still doing our first wave to the upside. Or sorry, we're doing our third wave to the upside, and we just completed our first wave here. You have your wave 1, wave 2, your third, fourth, and then an extended fifth wave of your wave 1. And then you have an ABC correction down to the 50% fib. So as long as this 50% fib holds here and we get above these highs at 280 to 290, then it's very likely we'll go in for our wave 3 at around the 657 to 685 region. Okay, so around the $6.50 to $7 region. Come down for a wave 4, and then we would have our wave 5 to the upside, which would likely be $10 to $12. I have no doubt that $10 to $12 gets hit. And then this over here, and then there's no guarantee that we'll see a pullback this steep, but it is possible before we have our third leg to the upside, right? Because this would be your wave 1. This is your wave 2, and then we have our wave 3 like that to around 17 to 22 bucks. Now, the reason I say that we're going to come down to these range highs over here, now there's no guarantee we will, but the reason I keep pointing that out is simply because of Wyckoff accumulation. You see, we've been within this structure for almost 1,000 days, right? Almost 3 years we've been in this accumulation structure. You have your spring come in over here, and you have what's called your SOS, your sign of strength. After your SOS comes in, or your max euphoria, you come down to the top of the range for what's called your backup or your last point of support. After this occurs, we have continuation higher. Okay, now this is what I think is going to happen. But yeah, cake is looking good. It's looking pretty good. Now, something I've noticed on cake is that this little structure here on the 4-hour time frame looks very similar to what we had months back. So take a look at this structure here. And I'm going to show you what Cake did a while back here. Just trying to find it. Right here. Okay. You see this? You have your established range, and then you sweep the lows of the range. Okay? See, we swept the lows here. So if this can move its way back up to these range highs here at 280, 290, then it wouldn't surprise me that we take out these highs at 338 to have continuation, right? But in a scenario in which this stalls out and fails to get above 282, 290, then it's likely this was your A, we came up for an ABC for your B, and then we come down for a C wave to around $1.90 to 220, or 220 to $1.90. If we did that, if we did come down, no reason to panic, because it would likely just be a wave 2 before we have the next explosive move to the upside. But yeah, Cake is looking good so far. Very bullish. I really like this sweep over here. It's reminiscent of what we had back in November, December. Let's take a look at this volume footprint over here. Oh, I can't take a look at it here because it's the okay. So we'll take a look at it with the current range and see if there's any similarities. Okay, we're actually above this POC, so that's what I like to see. You see how we're above this POC? So if we get above the value area high here, then it wouldn't surprise me that we make our way to these highs very fast. Okay, so we would be targeting the value area high over here. So I think 272 gets hit next at the value area high. But yeah, this is Cake. Looks really good. I think $10 to $12 gets hit with the possibility of a throwback to range highs before we have a continuation. Can you check Hex on Pulsechain? For sure, Mr. Scotty. Thank you, bro. Nice. Pip, can XRP go back to 40 cent? Or did we never see the 50 cent again? Honestly, bro, I don't think it can go back to 40 cent. That's a little too low. I mean, if there was a really bad black swan event, then yeah, maybe, but I doubt it goes down that low again. Now, usually in the bull markets, or sorry, in the bear markets, crypto altcoins go down about 86 to 96% or 93% on average. So let's say XRP went to 13 bucks, 90% down from that. Let me see. It's $1.30. So maybe $1 it'll go back down to, but 40 cents, I don't think so. Pretty low. Let's take a look at Hex on Pulsechain, and then we'll take a look at XRP for you guys. Okay, so I think we need to clean this chart up over here. So we'll actually do the analysis from scratch. So what we have over here is a Wyckoff accumulation structure. This was your accumulation. This was your manipulation. And then you have your expansion to the upside. So a classic power of three setup. This setup was actually popularized by ICT. Really well-known trader. But yeah, this is a classic power of three setup. You can also look at it in the lens of like a Wyckoff analysis, where this is your spring. And what it looks like over here is just our last point of support before we have continuation to the upside. Now this is what it looks like to be a classic head and shoulders fake out. You have your left shoulder, your head, your right shoulder, and then you start chopping under this neckline. Like you may see wicks like this, right? You may even see it go under like that, but then all of a sudden it pops off and makes a new high, because this just looks like a wave 2. Like this is your wave 1, and then you have your wave 2 before we have our third wave to the upside. Okay, so I just think that this is a head and shoulders fake out. We can actually see here that this looks a lot like what Nvidia did back in 2023. Now, I like to bring up Nvidia when I talk about the head and shoulders fake out, because it's such a good example. I remember it back then in 2023. Everyone was bearish on Nvidia. Let's go back. So this is Nvidia, by the way. This is where I think it's going to go. It's really nice structure. I think we're going to have our fifth wave to the upside, but let's go back to this example in 2023. Here, this is your head and shoulders fake out. You see how you had a wick below this neckline, and then we took off. We'll go on the daily so you can see it better. Your left shoulder, your head, and your right shoulder. Wick below the neckline, manipulation before we have expansion. And I think that Hex on Pulsechain is doing the same thing. We may have chop within this region, right? But ultimately, I think we're going to have expansion up. Now, when we're taking a look at the wave count, just a classic flat pattern. Then we take a fib from the all-time high down to the low. So the highest recorded price within the range down to the lowest recorded price. And yeah, these are all your targets. Okay, so 17 cent is going to be the target. Then we're probably going to stall out here. And then if we come down, you would want to take a fib from this high down to wherever we come down. Down to wherever we come down to if we stall out over here. And then you'd want to take a look at the fibs to capitalize on the last wave, right? So you can capitalize on this last wave, but we'll take it level for level. Right now I would be expecting just chop and grind within this red region over here that I marked out before we see a move up to around the 18-cent level. But yeah, it looks pretty good. Hex on Pulsechain. Yes, XRP for the boys and XRP team. You know, on cake will also happen at XRP first to 7-Eleven. Correction and the continuation. 26? Yeah, maybe. Good morning, Mina. Hope you're doing well. We'll take a look at Dent. Another member also asked for Dent. So we'll take a look at that. But let's take a look at XRP. Because in every live stream, we take a look at XRP, check on the health, especially on the small time frame here. So let's delete all this and let's just check this out with a blank chart. Sometimes when you do too much analysis, it's good to just start new, just so you can get a clear mind on exactly what's going on here. But yeah, it looks like XRP is still chopping around here. Now, like I said in the last live stream, we did sweep these highs here. Right? So there is a possibility in which we come down like this to take out this internal range towards the 618 down to the 786. Okay? Like around right here. And then everyone will likely open up new shorts as we take out this low at 227. And then it will see a really nice pop to the upside. Now this is one scenario that I have in mind. If we can't get above this 786 at 276. So if we can't get above 276, then it's possible we sweep this low, have a flush like this, and then get bought up very quickly from there. So this is one scenario that I have in mind. The second scenario would be that we just continue to chop here within this leading diagonal. So your ABC up. Right? Or what we think is a leading diagonal. This does look like a leading diagonal. Right, it could be like this is your A. Now remember, this is the hourly time frame, so be super careful taking trades based off this analysis, because the market can change very rapidly, and so will the analysis. I mean, it'll still follow it roughly, but it won't be down to a science. So I'm thinking this would be your wave 1, wave 2, 3rd, 4th, and then 5th, like this. So this is the second scenario that I have in mind. First scenario, we sweep this low, and we just manipulate downwards to the 618 down to the 786, and then we blast off. The second scenario is that this is just a leading diagonal. These are all your fib supports. Right here. Then we're going to take a fib from this high in January down to this wick over here at $1.77. And look where this 702 and this 786 is. Right here at $2.90 to $3.04. Okay, so I'm thinking we come up here to around $3.04. If we hold 252, 2.5299, if we hold that level, then it wouldn't surprise me that this scenario comes into play. Don't forget the first scenario that I mentioned. Be prepared for both. But yeah, this is what I think on XRP. Then you have your ABC down, right? Like this. And this would be your wave 1, your wave 2, and then you have continuation up. Okay, that's XRP. These are all your supports. This is your range. Always place ranges on your chart. This way you can get used to what the liquidity sweeps look like. Okay, so I think we sweep mid-range eventually. Whether it's scenario 1 or scenario 2, I think we end up sweeping 228. And then continue up from there. But yeah, XRP is looking good. XRP is still bullish. The macro structure hasn't changed. Super, super bullish. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Please, Jasmi. Yeah, we'll take... Not really. I mean, we're gonna eventually get out of the range, but there's gonna be a lot of chop. There's gonna be a lot of chop and grind along the way. There's gonna be flushes within the ranges of coins, like within the coin's own range. Yeah, hard for trading for sure. Yeah. Because everything is so like tightly squeezed, and everything is range bound. But yeah, we'll take a look at Jasmi now, and then we'll take a look at Dent. Team RH, let's go. Yeah, PulseX is gonna do really well. The whole ecosystem. But yeah, let's take a look at Jasmi here. We'll check up on Jasmi. Then we'll take a look at Dent. We'll see how this structure formed here on Jasmi. So wave 1, wave 2, 3. Looks like we're doing a wave 4 here before we come up for a wave 5. This is your range for your wave 4. So it's either this was your wave 4 and this is your wave 1, 2, and we're going to have our 3rd, 4th, and 5th to the upside within our 5th wave, or we still have some more chopping around to do before to finish up our wave 4 before we have our impulsive 5th, right? So there's going to be chop within this region. I mean, when we take a look at Jasmi and we take a fib from this November low here, we are holding the 88.6% fib. See how we're holding it right here? So as long as this level holds, then it wouldn't surprise me that we have a nice push to the upside. Otherwise, we're just gonna see chop within this region to finish up this ABC correction, right? It'll just be like, it'll just look like wicks. That's what I'm thinking for Jasmi. On the high time frame, it'll just look like a wick. That's why you have to be very careful, like entering into any new trades here when you're using leverage, because it's likely you're going to get chopped out. Okay. Now what we're going to do to find the 5th wave target is we're going to take a trend-based fib from the bottom of our trend to the top of our trend and down to the bottom of our expected counter trend. Down to the bottom of our counter trend, and we do see that the 702 is around the 14-cent level and the 786 is around the 18-cent level. We can also take a fib from this high down to this low and take a look at all of these major targets here. Yeah, so lots of confluence around this level. Around that 13 to 14 cent level. Okay. May come up here as well. 4.618. So yeah, I still think that Jasmi has some room left. It still needs to have its 5th wave to the upside. We'll take a look at Jasmi on CoinTrader Pro. I believe I did put the macro fibs on the chart because we can actually see where the all-time high is. And look, remember I was talking about that head and shoulders fake out on Hex? Well, Jasmi did the same thing, you see? Head and shoulders fake out. And then we had that nice push to the upside. Yeah, so yeah, 11 to 12 cent. Yeah, like around this region. So same level. 11 to 14 cent level, like right here within this region. That would also be the 50% fib when we take a fib from the all-time high down to this low. So yes, so around the 11 to 14 cent region is where you'd want to look to take profit and save some Jasmi aside just in case we take out this internal range liquidity, resting a little bit below this, resting above the 618 at 28.30 cent. Okay, so take majority profits here and then leave some Jasmi aside just in case we hit these two targets, but not financial advice. Yeah, Jasmi looks good. My hope is Ink token. Yeah. Ink is good, bro. Have a good day, Nate. Okay, let's take a look at Dent. Dent is super squeezed here. See how long we've been within this wedge here? This is almost 3,000 days that we've been within this wedge on Dent. I find that really crazy. Want to see if I made any analysis on the white chart here. Okay, I didn't. But what we can do to find the targets, just take a fib from this all-time high here down to the low. And you'd want to take a look at the 786 on the log scale. And the price is likely to be gravitated towards there eventually. Now, the reason I say the 786 on the log scale and the reason we measured it from this high is simply because XRP also stalled out at the same fib when we use the same placement. Like when we take a look at XRP here, on this chart that I made, we'll take a look at it here. Take a fib from the 2018 high down to the low. Take a look at the 786. We'll take a look at it on the linear scale though. And look where it stalled out. Right there at the 786. It did tap the 1, but regardless, we still stalled out here. So I'm thinking that Dent will do the same, or at least come towards that 786. I mean, it just makes sense considering we have so much trap liquidity here. Now, what do I mean by trap liquidity? I mean that the price, there's still trapped holders here that are holding their coins at these higher levels because we just came down very rapidly from 2021 and then we went sideways within a Wyckoff accumulation range. Right, so this is your Wyckoff accumulation range at the lows. And currently making higher lows right now. And within this 2,500 day long range, almost 2,600 days, we've been within this accumulation range at the apex for 1,000 days. For almost 1,000. So 980 days of accumulation at the apex of a almost 3,000 day long pennant, macro pennant. So I think a move up to this 786 would make sense. We can also take a look at the other fibs just so you guys are safe and so you guys are in the know. Take a look at the 702 here. So yeah, these two levels. About a 17 to 30x. To the 618, it's about 876, 876%. 50% fib is 382%, so it's looking pretty good. And you know what this is your trendline liquidity right here. We took it out. Okay, this is the first pane is dent, the second pane is cake. There's no now, yeah, it looks very similar. It's just we're missing this pop up here on dent. Yeah, this is dent. Looks pretty good. Yo, yeah, let's take a look at ink for sure. Okay, so this is incentive token right here. This is your Wyckoff accumulation schematic. We've been within this range going on almost 1 year. So 290 days of accumulation. We have your secondary test in phase B, your fail breakout, your move down to range lows. You sweep your range lows to make a new low for your spring. Then we have your jump across. And now at these range highs, that's when everyone gets excited, right? Everyone goes super long once the price gets up to the range highs. So in order to clear up all that froth in the market, in order to reset everything before we see healthy continuation, we need to have a check back. And in this case, we just came down to mid-range. So we can take a fib from this low here, so from this spring up to this high. And we're currently on the 70.2 to 78.6% fib. So as long as this level, these two levels can hold over here, then it wouldn't surprise me that we have our next leg higher. And then we would be targeting 667, which would be the 786 measured from the March high down to this February low. So a move up to 667 and 847. But I would want to see these two levels hold here in order to confirm this move up. Because this looks like a wave 1, then all we're doing is coming down for a wave 2. When we take a look at it on the log chart or on the log fibs, we came just shy of the 618. So it wouldn't surprise me that we see consolidation within this region. Right, so, but I don't think it makes a new low here. I think all of the lows have been swept in order for us to have continuation to the upside. Now, you see how we moved up to these range highs here, and then we came back down to mid-range. That reminds me exactly of QNT and Hex on Pulsechain. So you have your sweep, that was your low. You have your move up to these range highs, a check back before continuation. And when we take a look at QNT, we see the same thing. You see QNT? You had your spring under the established range, your move up to range highs, Everyone gets excited here. They go long on QNT, and then we have a check back to around mid-range. And then we grind our way to the upside for our next move. I think I saw the exact same thing on Hex. Right over here. Your manipulation or your move below the range, your move up to range high, everyone gets excited, everyone goes long here, and then we have a check back to mid-range before we have continuation higher, right? So incentive token looks healthy, structure looks good, nothing to be worried of, nothing to be worried about, but yeah. That's incentive token. Looks pretty good. I still do think that $27 gets hit on incentive token. So yeah, I also have some incentives. So Cava, yeah, we'll do Cava. Okay, let's take a look at Cava here. Super bullish on Cava. I'm going to show you a few charts here. Okay, here's your A, B, C correction to the downside. And we've been in a downtrend for around 1600 days. You can see how squeezed this structure is looking. This is your established range, so your accumulation. You have your manipulation under the range before you have expansion. So this is a classic power of 3 setup. You have an accumulation setup within a larger accumulation structure. So your larger accumulation structure is your falling wedge, and then within the falling wedge you have a power of 3 setup. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Okay, this is what it looks like. You see? Right here. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Cava is doing the same thing. Accumulation, manipulation, and then distribution. We'll take a look at Cava on this CoinTrader Pro chart that I have. Yeah, this is Cava. We're going to see a lot of chop in here. That's why I called it the no panic zone. Because usually people tend to overthink. Like when they get in on the manipulation zone, a lot of people tend to overthink. And they just get chopped out and just sell at the lows before we have that expansion. Yeah, this is Cava. I think we make a move up to this weekly fair value gap and breaker block, which would be sitting at the 70.2 to 78.6% fib, measured from the 2021 high at $3.09 to $4.10, with the possibility of sweeping the range high sitting at $9 towards 11 to 15. Now, it looks like Cava is still down from the all-time high by about 95%. Now, I know a lot of people when they look at altcoins and they see that it's down by over 94, 95, 96%, they won't come anywhere near it, right? But I think that thinking is a little bit backwards because you want to be looking for coins that are down that low. You know, you want to be looking for setups with coins that are down 90, 92, 94, 95%, because that means you have more upside. Same thing with Hex, right? Hex went down by 99%. Hex on Ethereum. But as long as the structure looks bullish, even though the price goes down that much, then it's a buy, right? Because you can't really, I mean, it's more likely that when you go down by over 94 or 95%, it's more likely that you'll see at least a relief rally to the upside rather than more downside. That's why it's extremely dangerous to short a coin that's gone down that low already. Like Hex went down over 99%, and then it went up 676%. I know there was a lot of people who are bearish here who sold their Hex here. And then all of a sudden, boom, right? But yeah, Cava looks good. It's still down by over 94% from the all-time high. That's not a bad thing. That's actually opportunity. Okay, what I would want to see here going forward is for these lows to hold. Okay, these lows. Take a look at the 200-day moving average. And we're still above the 200-day, so that's very bullish. See how we double tapped it here? You may see wicks within this region, but ultimately I expect to move to the upside. No problem, bro. Can you do KDA and Theta? Yeah, for sure. Let's take a look at KDA and Theta, and then we can take a look at CRO for sure. Okay. Yeah. KDA. So this is KDA over here. Accumulation at the lows for almost 3 years. Let's just remove these drawings that I made. Looks pretty good. This is the weekly time frame. Nice pop up off of the 61.8% fib. Let's take a look at it on the daily time frame. Yeah, so this was your wick right here. And usually when you have a wick like that, you're going to come back down to fill it. And in this case, we came down 61.8% of the way. And we actually double tapped it here. So what I would want to see here going forward on Kadena is just simply a move above this high. So the high of this wick, the high of this day in which we had the capitulation event, February 3rd. I want to see a move above 0.6289, 0.629 in order to confirm a break of structure or a change of character. So maybe we sweep, so we take out this high, then we'll probably come down a little bit, and then we can confirm bullish market structure from there. Okay, but mainly I would want to see these Fibonacci supports hold at 0.495 down to 0.45871 at the 786. And then I also want to see a move above 0.629, 0.628 to confirm bullish market structure. But so far, KDA is looking good because we have over 1,000 days of accumulation. Let's take a look at this on the 3-day time frame. And yeah, these are the take profit targets on KDA. This would be a big TP level right here. 472 to 740. Then you'd want to TP all the way up, but Usually when you go sideways like this, that's accumulation at the lows. So we dropped by over 98%. Almost 99% we dropped from the all-time high. And then we went sideways for 3 years. Now remember, distribution, it doesn't happen at the lows. Distribution happens at the highs. So when you go sideways at the lows for almost 3 years after going down by 98%, or almost going down by almost 99%, that's likely accumulation, and we're going to have expansion next. And this is what I was explaining in all the XRP videos that I did before it blasted off. Because I know a lot of people were worried when XRP was still ranging at the lows. I kept telling people that usually when we go sideways at the lows, or pretty much all the time, it's not a bearish sign. It's just accumulation. But I know a lot of people, they can lose patience during this accumulation. So the best thing to do is just DCA slowly for the anticipation of that expansion to the upside. Okay. But yeah, this is KDA. We'll take a look at another coin here. What's up, bro? Okay, we'll take a look at Theta here. Okay, so this is Theta. It's having a really nice pop up here on the 3-day time frame. This is the daily. I like how we swept this diagonal trend, and then we came down to the 786. It's still chopping here at these lows, so I would expect continued chop and then eventually a grind to the upside. Don't forget that Theta has been within this range for almost a year. Okay, it's just a reaccumulation range before we have continuation. This is the weekly time frame on Theta. Okay. So basically all we did is just we're lining up the regular fibs with the trend based fibs. That's all we're doing to find confluence. Okay, you want to ladder out all the way up. We had our first wave to the upside. Then we had our counter trend, which is your bear market. But we need to have our third leg now. Okay. Your initial advance, or your first run to the upside, your downtrend, your accumulation sideways, and then your continuation higher. Okay, so yeah, I think Theta is going to do well. It's just chopping within this region. So I would say this is your chop zone right here. What about coins that die? What about coins which die? What does that theory say about them? DGB. So, DGB is definitely not dead. And we can see that by looking at this range. I mean, it's holding the range really well. See, it's just Wyckoff accumulation. Almost 3 years at the lows here. And it never made a new low. You see that? When we had that flash crash with the altcoins, we never made a new low. We just came down to the 786 in an ABC formation. So what I would be thinking here with DGB is either we see a move up right now, or we come down and have some more chopping around to do at the lows before we have our third wave to the upside. This was our 5-wave move up for your wave 1. Then we had an ABC correction down towards the 786. We may come down to the 886 at around 0.0594. But regardless, I do expect a expansion out of this 3-year long range. Like I said, right? You had your huge move up, which was your bull run. You have your move down, which is your counter trend, your accumulation at the lows, and then you have continuation. This is the way the crypto markets work. Whenever you see the price trading sideways at the lows for an extended period of time, you'd want to be interested in long positions, or at least building a spot position, right? First advance, counter trend, accumulation, continuation. Okay? These are your TP levels. We're looking at 0.046 to 5 cent. And then 0.069 to 8 cent. And then this is the TP3. 11 to 14 cent. And then you always want to save some DGB aside just in case we break above this 2021 high. Okay, now when we take a look at DGB on the historic chart, we do see equal highs. Or you see how we just swept it here? This looks like a huge ABC correction. Like this is your A, your B, and then you have your C wave like that. You have your A, B, C down. You have your ABC up. And then your 5-wave move to the downside. Just looks like Wyckoff reaccumulation. That's what it looks like. And this move right here is what's considered your creek. So this move is your creek. You see how you're creaking down? And then we still need to have our jump across the creek. Let's go on the 3-day. Yeah, this is what the 3-day time frame looks like. I just want to see this structure here on gold. It's reminding me a lot like this gold structure. So now the only difference is that we came down to these range lows twice, but we only came down to the range lows one time here. Regardless, it's still reaccumulation. But yeah, DGB looks good. Looks like the correction is done here at 0.005. And bullish invalidation would be to see a move below the 88.6% fib right here. You see there's many different forms of reaccumulation here. You see that? So it looks like this DGB is doing reaccumulation after shakeout. And gold did reaccumulation with breakout. Okay, so there's many different forms of reaccumulation, distribution, accumulation, right? That's the benefits. You know, like, that's why I always stress the importance of learning different types of trading theories, so you're never blindsided in the market. You know, because like I said in my, they may not see something that the Wyckoff guys do, and vice versa, right? So if you learn different trading theories and then put them into practice, you start getting better at everything. And then you can see the market in different perspectives, right? So that's pretty good. But yeah, DGB looks good. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Can you take a look at Omi? I remember Omi. I remember that coin. Yeah, let's take a look at Omi. Now let me see if there's more history on this CoinTrader Pro chart. Omi. Okay, yeah, it looks like there's I'm just trying to find the best chart here so we can get very accurate. Oh yeah, okay, this is a good chart. Take a look at the RSI on the weekly. Okay, so I like this 2-week RSI here on Omi. It's printing a little bit of a falling wedge. You have bullish divergence, lower lows on the price, but higher lows on the RSI. But even though this structure looks bullish, because we have the divergence with the falling wedge pattern, we don't really know where Omi is going to terminate. Like it can continue its move down. We don't know exactly where this is going to terminate at. Let's check over here. Take a fib from this low up to this high. And it did come down to the 786, so I mean, there is a possibility we see a pivot here soon. So I just want to see if this is the same structure, right? We have now we may chop around here, but yeah, we may chop around this mid region right here for your creek before we have the jump across. But mainly I wouldn't want to see a move below this low at 0.0271. If we start getting daily closures below that low, then it wouldn't be good news. But so far, it's looking bullish. So far. Here's your falling wedge with bullish divergence on the 2-week time frame. And then you have what's possibly Wyckoff reaccumulation. So yeah, Ecomi looks okay. Looks bullish. Slightly. What about ETH and Bitcoin DOM? Yeah, sure, we'll check that. TA Fartboy meme on Solana. My god. Everyone is obsessed with that coin, Fartboy. That's hilarious. Okay, we'll take a look at ETH first, and then we'll try to get to Fart Boy. I think Fart Girl came out, and it went up like really high. But yeah, let's take a look at ETH. Bullish on ETH, guys. This is just a reaccumulation structure, you see? Same thing as Dent. Dent is doing the same thing. And Litecoin is doing the same thing as well. You're just going sideways at the highs. Okay, so I was showing that this is your wave 1, your wave 2. We may see a push up to the 618, which would be 3,353, or we manipulate lower to these fibs, sitting at around 2362 to 2304 at the 70.2 to 78.6% fib. But so far, ETH is looking good for expansion on the high time frame. I would be targeting $7,000 to $9,000 here. Okay. So remember, this is our manipulation zone right here. You're going to see price chop within this region, this level. But yeah, ETH looks good. Looks pretty good. You see this stock RSI on the weekly? You see it's all the way at the lows here. We actually have a little bit of bullish divergence. And the 3-day stock RSI is at the lows. It already hit the lows and now it's curling up. So yeah, ETH should be ready for expansion soon. I believe there's going to be staking, like a staking, some future staking they're going to be releasing on ETH soon. Yeah, ETH looks good. Let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance looks good. This is the bullish scenario on Bitcoin dominance. We would just see a move up to 66.18% and then see a nice push down. This would be, I would say this is the worst case scenario. Now, all I did to find these fib resistance levels is I just took a fib from the 2021 high down to the low. So from this high over here down to this low, and then I took a look at it on the linear scale. And you see we've hit the 702. And the bullish scenario would be that we come up here to the 786 at 66.18%. Otherwise, we should be good for a move to the downside, because we did hit the 786 on the logarithmic scale. You see, when we use the fibs on the log scale, we already hit the 786 here. So we could sit, and then that would mean that this ABC is already in, and this wave 5 of 5. See, now when we really zoom in here, we see an ABC for each of these waves. You guys see that? So this is a ending diagonal. What I would want to see here going forward is a move below 60.24%. So I want to see, so once we get a move below 60.24%, then that will get things rolling. But yeah, this is your full wave count here. 3 wave move up in your A, 3 down in your B, and then a 5 wave move to the upside for your C wave. So now what I want to be taking a look at next is the Russell 2000 and Total 3. I think those charts are very important to watch. Yeah, bro, for sure. Now, you know, a lot of people, like a lot of analysts, they'll show you their analysis, but they won't show you how they did the analysis. And that's what keeps people, you know, it makes people like reliant. And I think it's always good as an analyst to show how you did the analysis so people can learn for themselves, right? Yeah, for sure, bro, for sure. Okay, so Bitcoin dominance is bearish. And you know, something I also notice here on Bitcoin dominance, what do we have here on the RSI? Now, whenever you have an ending diagonal, pull out your RSI. And usually that ending diagonal will top out when you see triple negative divergence. So this is your triple negative right here. You have 3 higher highs. You see? But 3 lower highs. So this is triple negative. So as long as we can stay below this high and this high, we should be good for a move down here. But yeah, Bitcoin dominance bearish. ETH is bullish. ETH is just within a reaccumulation structure going on for almost 1 year. Very similar to that of Litecoin and forgot what that, or Theta, yeah. Litecoin and Theta. Look at Litecoin go here. Really bullish. But yeah, let's take a look at the Russell 2000. Very important chart to be watching. This looks like a huge ending diagonal. You know, AMD is printing the same structure. We're also holding the 200 day. You see? You just want to go to the indicator section and then search up 200 day SMA. And you see how well we're holding it here? We actually came down to it 5 times now. You see? So I don't think we see a significant move below this 200 day moving average, similar to how I don't think Total 3 will either. You see, when we take a look at Total 3, look where we came down to. Came down to the 200 day. Same thing as the Russell, right? Nice WXY correction down to the 200 day. We filled the wick to around the 618, 50% fib. Now I just want to see a move above these highs. There. Now this yellow region over here, this is our chop zone. So if the market goes down from here, I don't think it'll make a new low below this 200 day, but instead just chop within this range before we have that grind to the upside. Same thing with Russell 2000. Russell 2000 came down to the 200 day and it's just chopping within here before we have continuation higher. Now I would be targeting around the $3,200 level. Which would be the 1.618. Measured from our 2021 high, down to our 2023 low. Russell is looking good. Total 3 is looking good, considering both of those tickers came down to the 200-day. And usually when you have a huge advance to the upside and then you make your way back to the 200-day, that's usually a sign that we had such a big flush in the market and a big scare before you move higher. The same thing could be said about the 100-day moving average as well. If you have a huge rise in the market and then you make your way back down to the 100-day, you usually see a nice rally from there. And in this case, we came down to the 200. So it looks like we had a really deep flush, and then the metrics also show that as well. Biggest flush in history of crypto, even bigger than FTX, right? But yeah, everything is looking good. Let's take a look at AMD. This is AMD right here. Let's go on the weekly. Yeah, so still one more wave to the upside here. Okay. Let's take a look at equities. So we'll take a look at EAM. This is iShares, MSCI. We're back above the 200-day moving average. Pre-market, we're up about 25 cents. This is equities right here. The market doesn't look topped out yet. Looks like we still have some more upside to go. DXY. Still bearish. Still bearish on the DXY. And look where we are. We're at we tapped 106.402. So we're making really good progress here on the DXY. Now what I would want to see here going forward is just a weekly close below that level. Once you get a weekly close below that level, then we should be looking good for risk assets. Also, you have I believe the China M2 money supply. China M2 money supply had a really nice push up here. I mean, it's always been going up, but I believe I saw somewhere, let me see here, that it recently had a huge surge. But regardless of whatever this M2 money supply is doing, I do think that risk assets should be moving higher. We have a bearish DXY, we have bullish equities. Total 3 came down to the 200-day moving average, and we're grinding our way up. And the Russell 2000 also came back to the 200-day moving average. Target for the Russell 2000 is 3,200, which will likely get hit in 2025. So everything is coming together really nice. All we're seeing right now is just chop at the lows for a lot of coins in the altcoin market. We do see some coins front running, like Litecoin, Tell, BNB, Cake, Ohm. So that's a good sign. You know, when we're seeing coins front running and popping off, that means that the rest of the market should follow suit. We just need a little bit more liquidity, which should come in very soon. Or China M1, yeah, okay, let's take a look at, yeah, it was M1 money supply. Let me see here. Yeah, look at that push up here. Crazy. From October 2024, it was at 63, around 63, 65. Now it's at 112. Look at this huge spike here. So we have a lot of things kicking off, right? Bearish DXY, bullish Russell and Total 3, bullish equities. Lots of things that are lining up. And AMD. Still bullish on AMD and still bullish on NVIDIA. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. This thing is taking forever to load here. Okay, this is NVIDIA. See? Wyckoff distribution on NVIDIA. We still need to have our upthrust after distribution. Okay, very similar structure to that of equities, right? Very similar structure. See how you creak your way up? But yeah, everything's looking good. They say they changed the calculation method without printing much. Yeah, maybe. You said you were going to take a look at Fart Boy. Yeah, we'll take a look at Fart Boy. Thank you, Joda. Appreciate it, bro. We'll take a look at Velo. Especially for futures and targets for the bull run. Okay, we'll take a look at we'll deep dive into Velo, but I want to take a look at this meme coin that people are raving about, Fart Boy. So yeah, let's check out Fart Boy. But there's so many Fart Boys. Which one? Is it this one? Oh yeah, it is this one. So it looks like it's just consolidating before higher. Let's delete everything on this chart here. Looks like it's just bull flagging. Fart Boy. Very, very high risk coin. Very, very high risk, but regardless of the risk, it's still a bull flag here. So yeah, it's looking good. Maybe a move to 38 to 56 cent. Okay, here are your TP levels for Fart Boy. So you can screenshot that. And then what you'd have here is you'd have three peaks or 3 drives to a high. And this kind of looks like an ending diagonal type structure. So when we get up there, be very careful, right? Okay, something like this. And then we would have probably a rounding top. It would start to round and round off here. Yeah, this is Fart Boy. It's going to do okay. People are still speculating on this coin. I can see that. It has a lot of strength. I know, right? XRP XRP has always been a laggard, and it front run the bull market or the altcoin bull market, and now it may lag a little bit because it's just slowly grinding its way up. But it should do well. It should do very well. Fart Boy is going to be listed at more dexes. How did I get it? Yeah, you got to be careful for sure. Can you do Cardano and H bar? We're going to take a look at Velo next, and then we'll take a look at Cardano and H bar. So let's take a look at Velo. So Velo is holding really well. Now, like I said in the last analysis, whenever you have 3 peaks here within a rising wedge structure, you have a lot of people shorting over here. A lot of people shorting it, thinking that this is a 5-wave move, that this is a completed 5-wave move, and we're gonna make our way down to 0. Like we're gonna crash from here. But what the market likes to do instead is it likes to have that one last drive to the upside after you have 3 peaks here come in. So you have your rising wedge, right? This is your rising wedge structure. Your wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Everyone goes short here at the 5th wave high, thinking it's going to do this. But what it does instead is it just comes down partially and then flushes all these people out to have what's called your throw over. So this is your throw over of the pattern before it rushes down. Okay? So I would be expecting the same thing here on Velo. I see a move up to the 618 at around 11 cent and the 702 at 20 cent. But I would say that the really safe target, I would say a reasonable and safe target is at around the 618 at 11 cent here. Let's take a look at Velo on this chart. Yeah, it's looking good. Yeah, around that 11 cent level. Lots of confluence there. So now this is the weekly time frame. We have a lower low here on the RSI, but a higher high or a higher low on the price. So that looks like hidden bullish divergence playing out here. So yeah, bullish on Velo. I think it's going to go to 12 cent. But keep some coins aside just in case it goes higher, for sure. Yeah, I think coins get called fart boy. A lot of people made money. Nothing is close to the top. Altcoins haven't seen their season. True. Altcoins haven't seen their season yet, bro. Only the ISO coins. Casper is bullish. I appreciate that. Sandile. We'll take a look at Casper. So this is Casper over here. Looks like it just came down for a wave 2. Okay, so within this yellow region over here is where I would be expecting a bottom to come in at. Bullish invalidation would be to see a move below the 88.6% fib sitting at 0.0085. However, this does look like just a second wave before we have our third wave to the upside. When we take a look at Casper on the macro time frame, we do see that it's just printing a nice power of 3 setup. So if we go up to the 3-day time frame, you see how you have your established range? Kind of looks like Cava, right? Where we try to make several attempts at breaking out of the range, but we fail to do so because we have the composite operator putting their sell wall right over here, preventing the price from breaking out over here to the upside. They drive the price down below the established range where all the retail accumulate. And then as soon as it goes below the lows of this range, a lot of supply enters into the market because you have retail selling their bags. All the retail who accumulated within here, thinking it was going to break out to the upside, started dumping their bag when price went below this established range. The composite operator knows that. The composite operator, also known as the hidden hand, buys up all of that excess supply that enters into the market for the anticipation of our distribution or expansion to the upside, right? This is a classic power of 3 setup: accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. As you guys can see, it's no different than what Cava is doing. Let's take a look at Cava. Let's take a look at it on the weekly, or we'll do it on the 3-day. This is your accumulation. I think this is around the same time period as well. Okay, accumulation. Accumulation. Manipulation. And then you have expansion. So yeah, this is Casper. Looks healthy. This was your impulsive wave 1 or your A wave. Come down for a wave 2 or B, down to the 786. Now we have to have our wave 3 to the upside. But yeah, Casper looks good. Cubic. I remember that coin. Did we get CRO? Didn't do CRO yet, bro. Let's take a look at let's check up on Cake. Let's see what Cake is doing. Okay, still grinding its way up. Still looking okay. Take a look at XRP real quick. Just make sure everything is okay. It's looking good. Seeing a nice bounce here off the 38.2% fib. Okay, this is our scenario 2 on XRP. Our scenario 1 is we would just manipulate down to take out 228 and then see a nice push back up to range high. And then this is our scenario 2. So yeah, scenario 1 was we just see a move we see a move down now below 228, and then scenario 2 is this leading diagonal structure. Let's take a look at H bar. I know someone was last one of the day, FTT. You know, FTX is doing their token, or FTX is doing their repayments. So we may see some volatility on this coin here. Honestly, I don't really know what's going on with FTX token. But what I can tell you is that it's making higher lows here since July 2024. Let's take a look at this on the weekly. Now, I would like to see a move down here on FTX. It would be nice to see a move like that and then see the price get retracted back into this range, just so we can confirm its accumulation. Because right now it's just kind of hanging in midair. I mean, it could do this, but at the same time, we need to be cognizant of a scenario in which we sweep the range low for our spring before we have expansion. It's going to be a little bit tough to navigate this coin, especially because we have the repayments happening soon. But yeah, I mean, FTT has been within this accumulation structure for 784 days now, so almost 1 year of accumulation. So it wouldn't surprise me that we do see a little bit of a relief rally here. You know, let's take a look at the monthly. See if there's any inefficiencies above, because don't forget, a lot of coins that have gone down rapidly have trapped holders above the current prices. Those holders need to get out. So you may see a move up. Yeah, so this would be a big sell. If we came up here, that would be a big sell. But yeah, this is FTT. Coinbase case was just dismissed by the SEC. Cubic pip. Alright, let's take a look at Cubic. I believe it's on CoinGecko. Cubic. Where do I get this chart here on Cubic? Oh yeah, Coin Paprika, I believe it was. Let's hope it pulls it up here. This is not it. Can you send the where to find the chart for Cubic? I know one of my members in the Discord, he sent me a direct link to the chart, but I can't pull up the Discord right now. But I know Cubic is bullish. The last time I checked. Let me see. I use Mexi. Okay, we'll check again here. Cubic. Oh, right here. So now look where Cubic came down to. Cubic came down to the 88.6% fib. And it's either we see a really nice push up from here, or we go and make a new low. Now I'm betting on the push up, because usually what you see in the market is you have your first run to the upside, and then in the crypto markets, because it's such a highly over leveraged market, you tend to see very deep retraces. Now, if you get to the 786, 886, you tend to see continuation or rapid expansion from there. And the same thing could be said about Flare. Like if we take a look at Flare and what it did back in November, I believe it did the same thing. This is Flare. You see, we came down to the 786, and then we saw the blast off from there. In this case, for Cubic, we came down to the 886. Let's take a look at the RSI. if the RSI loads here. Yeah, so mainly I would just want to see this 886 hold. That's all I'd want to see. If we can hold the 886, then it wouldn't surprise me that we have our third leg to the upside. So now the RSI is loaded here. Let's take a look at it on the weekly or the 3-day. Sorry guys, my Wi-Fi is really bad, so. But yeah, Cubic is bullish as long as it can hold this 886. We should see that third leg to the upside. If we lose the 886, that won't be good for bulls. Okay, so this would be considered our invalidation. Inval. Okay. But a nice 4x from current price to our next point of interest. If this low holds. Velo. Thank you, Jodab. Appreciate it, bro. We'll take a look at Velo on the small time frame, sure. Let's take a look at this coin though, Assemble AI. I know I took a look at it last time for one of the members, and it was showing a bullish setup. So we'll take a look at it, see what's going on. Trying to find where I put that chart. Okay, okay, so it looks pretty good. Honestly, this coin is a hard read, to be honest. I'm not really sure. I'd mainly want to see these lows hold in order for us to have that expansion to the upside. But it does look like a new coin. So it could see, so this could be your wave 1, your wave 2, and then we have our 3rd, 4th, and 5th like this. Let's take a look at Velo. This is the 4-hour time frame. We're going to take a fib from this low here on February 2nd up to this high on February 8th. And it's come down to the 50% fib. Okay. We have liquidity resting above this trend line, so it's likely to be taken out. These are the fib resistances measured from the February 8th high down to the February 18th low. So I'll make it red so you guys can see. Okay. So I think price is going to be gravitated towards this level at the 786 at 0.02099. And if we get above it, then that means we're going to make our way above 0.022. Otherwise, this will just be a liquidity sweep to take out this trendline liquidity. And then we come down like this, back into the range, chop around here, and then we have continuation up. Or we come down to the lower fibs, chop, and then see continuation up. Okay? But so far it's looking good. It's looking good so far. I would be expecting a move up to 0.0209, 0.021. Okay? But yeah, these are the fibs for the 4-hour. So this is Velo here on the top pane, and then this is QNT back in November. Looks very similar here. Looks pretty similar to QNT. I just want to see a move above this 786 here to confirm more upside. But yeah, looking good so far on Velo, small time frame. Okay, let's take a look at sand. I really like this sweep here on sand. You see this sweep? So this is your range. Then we have this sweep right here. And look where sand came down to. perfectly hit that 786, 702. And this is Wyckoff accumulation. And the reason I can tell that it's Wyckoff is because we have 3 floors of price action. That's a really good tip that you can use in order to spot Wyckoff at the lows. So this is your first floor. This is your second floor. And this is your third floor. Okay. And all together, you form this accumulation range. And you can see here that we've been accumulating for almost 1,000 days. You had a lot of over leverage happening in the market when we moved back up to range high. So this was just a check back down to the 786 before we grind our way to the upside for our next leg. Now this is a very similar structure to that of UFO. You can see here on UFO, so I'm going to show you guys UFO, and it's pretty much the exact same chart. You see how you have 3 floors here? First floor, second, and then your third floor. And then all together we've been accumulating for 1,000 days. So we're slowly grinding our way down. But we're not making any we're not really making any serious moves down. We're just slowly sweeping the lows. And when you have 3 floors here, that's usually means you're gonna make your move to the upside for your expansion. Nice bullish divergence here. Bullish divergence on the 3-day time frame, so lower lows on UFO and then higher lows on the RSI. We can see the same thing with sand. You see on the 3-day, lower lows, but higher lows on the 3-day RSI. And then we would be targeting this level right here. At 378. Sand is bullish. Let's take a look at EHEX. So this is EHEX here. We had our 3-wave move up back in 2020, going up by over 10,000%. We had our 3-wave move down, going down by over 99%. Then we had our sweep of the low before we went up over 23,000%. You see, this is the low before that huge move occurred in 2020. You see this move right here? You see how we swept it in 2024? And then we started to see an impulsive structure form. So when we take a look here at the daily time frame, when we zoom in a little bit, we see a 5-wave move up. So this would be your wave 1. Then we came down for an ABC correction down to the 61.8% fib. or the 786 if we take a look at it on the linear scale. And now we're grinding our way to the upside on EHEX. Yeah, EHEX is looking good. I think it's going to make a comeback. These are all your TP levels for Hex. Right here. You'd want to ladder out heavily. And just save some aside just in case we get to these risky targets. But you'd want to look to ladder out heavily at the 618, 702, and 786. So we had our wave 1, we had our wave 2, down to the 618, 786. Now we need to have our wave 3 to the upside, right? So this is your wave 1, this is your wave 2, but we need a wave 3. And that wave 3 will likely take us towards the 50% fib, sitting at 0.022. Then once we get over here, a lot of people will start catching on. And that's what drives prices higher. So I think the run is just getting started here on Hex. And I don't see a scenario in which the rest of the RH coins go up, but Hex stays stagnant. I don't see a scenario in which that happens. I think that Hex will also participate in the bull run. Whether it's just a dead cat bounce or a move up to make a new all-time high, I think it's still going to participate. So this is Ando. Bullish on Ando. This is the potential wave count. Okay, something like this. Yeah, this is Ando. I think it's going to do good. This is just an estimated trajectory. We'll have to alter these waves as the price develops. So yeah, around 290 to $4 is where I would be expecting. See how it came back? See how it came down to this 200 day? I mean, we don't have much price history, but it still came down to this 200 day and then had a wick fill down to the 618. A little bit of bullish divergence on the MACD, looking pretty good. I'd want to see these two fibs to hold here. This 618, this 618702. But yeah, looking good. We can also take a fib from this high here in June 2024 down to this low and see if there's any confluence. Yeah, so around this $3 region. Yeah, $3 to $4 region. Okay. Do you gamble on any meme coins? Yeah, some coins, yeah. Swift coin. That's crazy. Do cake. No, I don't really post the memes that I buy because I don't want you guys to get wrecked. I mean, I did post some, but they got wrecked. Because it's a total gamble, right? But a good lottery coin that I'll vouch for is PulseX and PLS. Okay, let's take a look at cake. We gotta check up on cake and then we'll come back to XRP. So this is cake. Looking pretty good on the 4-hour time frame. It's still grinding its way to the upside. Now look what I noticed here on cake on the 2-week time frame. So we've been within this range for 1,000 days. We're currently above the point of control. The point of control is where 70% or more of the volume takes place. And we're currently above that level. And then if you take a VWAP from the all-time high down to the low, the upper band of the VWAP lines perfectly at this 618 23.6% fib at $10 to $11. So I think a move up to this upper band of this macro VWAP makes sense. So we have a lot of liquidity resting here. And then when we analyze the volume from the peak just down to this low before we enter into accumulation, let's see here. Yeah, so there is liquidity. There is liquidity still up here. But yeah, it's looking good. I do see a move to 10 to 11 bucks for cake. It's looking really good. Bull flag. This is the cake Bitcoin pair. You see how it's bull flagging right here? Guy loves cake. Jupiter. Yeah, Jupiter it looks bullish. Yeah, this is Jupiter. It's just range bound. Just range bound here. Let's take a look at Matic. See this Wyckoff reaccumulation structure here? You see this spring over here looks like this guy right here. And this was your creek. And it looks like it's putting in its low. It's going to chop within this range low before we have what's called a jump across. But yeah, I think a move back up to the POC makes sense and the value area high. So a move back up to this level at 89 cent and $1.71. I think XRP is going to go to 13 bucks. The reason I say 13 is because, well, we can take a fib. From the highest recorded price within the accumulation range down to what's called the LPS, or last point of support. Look at the major fibs here. You see it's already hit the 2.618 perfectly, and then we had a correction from there. So the 3.618 is 456.89 billion, which would be around the $7.50 to $8 region. The 4.236 is at 770.93 billion, which would be $13. Now that $13 target would also be the 4.236 when we take a fib from the all-time high down to the bear market low on the USD pair. You see the 4.236 right here? 13 bucks. And then when we take a look at the market cap chart, 4.236 is 13 buck. 770.93 billion. So I think this level gets hit as our max extension just for this bull run. And then 27 bucks in the next bull run. Yeah, just pure TA. The reason for that is because we're still within a speculative run, right? Utility hasn't really been the driver of price. Not yet. But in the next bull run, I do think that utility will eventually kick in and have influence on the price, taking it to 27 and above. I actually think that XRP one day will hit $100. And the reason I say that is because of the utility. But I don't think that utility will have any effect on the price as of now. I think it's just a speculative run. Yeah, ISO coins will take over for sure. For sure. Yeah. take a look at BNB, guys. BNB is front running. Lots of strength on BNB here. You see how well it's holding above this 200-day moving average here? You see how well? Like, look at it on the weekly. No weekly close below this 200-day. When we had that flash crash in the crypto markets, over $10 billion, you see that it wicked, but it never closed below the 200-day. Yeah, very bullish on BNB. This is the BNB chart here. Right here for the wave count. I think I deleted it, but yeah, BNB is bullish. It's holding really nice above this 200-day. This is BNB Bitcoin. BNB Bitcoin pair came down to the 886. And you have a rounding top here. So this is usually what you see in the market before you see expansion. You have your initial advance, your rounding top, your move down to extremes, and then you have continuation. One sec, guys. I'll be back. Yeah, you can't forget about XRP because you don't want to hold it through the bear. I mean, yeah, you can hold some coins through the bear, like maybe save 5 to 10% for a moon bag, not financial advice, but that's the thing about crypto, right? You know, people come to the crypto market thinking it's like the stock market, right? Because the stock market you just buy and you could just forget about it. You'll eventually make money. But with crypto, you can't do that because it doesn't really have the same time frames because it crashes by 90% after the peak comes in. So you got to take profit in crypto. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that EPR. Long-term play, if you want to try and time the market. You know the best thing you can do if you're a beginner is use the moving averages on your chart. You know, put the 50-day, put the 21-day, 50-day, 100-day and 200-day moving average on the chart. If after we have a huge parabolic advance and you see consecutive weekly closures below the 100 and 200-day moving average, then that would be your sell signal. That would be your confirmed downtrend, right? So it shouldn't be too hard to catch the top as long as you use those moving averages. You will know when we in the bear. Yeah, I'll know. I'll keep you guys informed, don't worry. Yeah, XRP will have a bear, just like every other coin. Newton? Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Filecoin. Let's take a look at Filecoin. I've always been bullish on Filecoin. Really nice accumulation structure at the lows. Okay, nothing has changed. We just see a nice pop-up from the Fibonacci retracement levels. Currently been within this accumulation structure for 3 years now. And we do have some bullish diversions here. See lower low on the price, higher low on the RSI. This looks like an A, a B, and then a C wave like this. Yeah, Filecoin looks good. Almost 3 years of accumulation here on Filecoin. You don't have to time the perfect price. Remember, you'll never really catch the top. You know, your goal in crypto, or your goal in any market, regardless of what type of investor you are, you should look to capture most of the move. If you can capture most of the move, then you should be okay. Right? Because when you sell, 95% of the time it's likely going to go higher. And usually what happens is people sell and then it goes higher and they're like, oh crap. And they get back in and then it dumps. So that's the thing. Like, once you get most of the move, don't think about, like, don't chase it after that. You know, just wait for it to come back down or get into the next opportunity. Never chase. But my point is that you don't have to catch the top. Just capture most of the move. I wouldn't say 50 cents, maybe like $1. Maybe $1.30. Let's take a look at H bar. H bar is looking good. WXY correction. Wick fill to the 786. Yeah, I see a move up to 91 cent. 91 cent to a dollar and 11 on H bar. Okay, around this region. Okay, this is H bar. This is ADA. You see? Came back down to the 200 day, but it never had any weekly closure below the 200. It also came down to the 702 and the 786. So the low is in on ADA. The low is in at 51 cent. I'm pretty confident on that. Okay. So would be expecting a move up to 244 on ADA, which would be the 78.6% fib on the linear scale, and then eventually the 1.618 at 477 and the 1.786 at 524. This looks like a massive leading diagonal structure where you have an ABC within each of the waves in a rising wedge-like formation. You have an ABC down, your ABC down for your wave 2 before you have a wave 3 to the upside. Okay. And you'd want to take profit all the way up here. XLM is pretty good. This is XLM on the weekly. You'd want to look to take profits at $1.20 up to $1.91 for XLM. So this region right here, that's where you want to look to take profits. Not financial advice. Guys, let's not fight over crypto, eh? I notice a lot of people fight in crypto. And I always wondered why. Because we all have the same goal, right? Okay, let's take a look at VET. I actually took a look at Vchain earlier in the stream. Bro, Pip, you should be the referee. Yeah, bro. For sure. I'm actually taking a look at XMR. Super bullish on XMR. Look at XMR here, guys. Look how bullish that is. And it's following exactly what I showed in the last live stream, where we would just oscillate back and forth before grinding our way to the upside towards 423. This is the weekly wave count. Now, I still have my XMR since 2017. I never sold it. I treat XMR like a long-term investment, and I am planning to sell when it hits that $5,000 to $7,000 region, like around here for this wave 3. So yeah, XMR is a long-term hold for me. Very nice cup and handle pattern. Look at XMR Bitcoin. It's outperforming right now. See this bullish divergence here? On the XMR Bitcoin pair. I like how we swept this adjacent low here back in April. You see how we swept the low? And now we're back above the 200-day. So that's pretty significant. But yeah, the market has been moving slow. A lot of the coins are just chopping at the lows, but we do see some coins starting to make their move, and starting to front run the rest of the market. Like for example, BNB, XMR, Litecoin, Tell. Right, we're starting to see some coins waking up, but most of the coins in the altcoin market are still chopping at the lows. If it's your coin that's chopping at the lows, don't worry because it's likely to see expansion soon, because we're getting hints from other coins that things are heating up. But yeah, this is XMR Bitcoin looking really good. There's also Dash. Dash is looking good. It's doing the same thing as Litecoin did. Let me see here. Or sorry, doing the same thing as Link did in November. Let me see. This is Link. Kind of looks similar here. See? Okay, so there's some other coins I'm looking at. Let's take a look at QNT. QNT is rebounding so well here. I like to see that. And we had a back test of the 200 day. Yeah, let's take a look at Trump. Okay, well, we've come down to the 786, 886 support on Trump. We had our breakout over here, and then we had a throwback to the 886. So mainly, I would want to look for this level to hold in order for us to see continuation higher. Otherwise, we will come down back to these lows. So bulls definitely want to see this level hold in order for us to have that move to the upside. But like I said in my last live stream, if this level can't hold, then it's probably going to manipulate lower and then chop everyone out before continuing on higher. But yeah, it's holding. Actually, from that bottom call, we went up by over 68%. So I know some people scalped this in the Discord. Four hours looking pretty good. Bro, do you have any timeline for quantum financial system? No, XMR is just starting. You know, because if we take a look at XMR, it's been going sideways for a very long time. You see that? You see how well it's grinding up off the 200-day moving average here? We can even take a look at these weekly EMAs. You see it's above. Let these EMAs load up here. Yeah, you see how it's above all these weekly EMAs here? So the parabolic phase on XMR has just started. Sui is looking good too. Look at Sui. Take a look at this RSI. Hidden bullish divergence, lower low on the daily, but higher low on the price. So super bullish. I think that Sui needs to have its fifth wave up. But let's go back to this question here. Timeline would be 2026 to 2033, like 2026 to 2033. I think around then that's when utility will kick in and all of the good fundamental stuff for the ISO coins. Like in the 2030s, definitely in that decade, things should start heating up. Let's take a look at this chart over here. This is periods to make money. Now, some people, they call this chart Fugazi, but so far, we haven't had any crazy deviations from this chart. Okay, yeah, let's take a look at Doge and then we'll end the stream and then we'll probably do another stream tomorrow morning. Let's take a look at Doge or Doge. Doge came down to the 200-day EMA and the 200-day. And if you look here at the daily RSI, notice how we have higher low, but an equal low on the daily RSI. Okay. We're just coming down to backtest this range high as support. Okay, these are your take profit levels. You see total 3 came down to the 200-day. Same as Doge. Yeah, many coins, so a lot of coins will have their run up, but many coins won't be here to stay. And that could be said with every bull cycle in the crypto market. There are coins that were super popular in 2017 that topped the charts, but they're nowhere to, like, they went into the garbage in the next cycle. So that happens, right? There's hypes. There's coins that get all hyped up and take off, and then they underperform in the next run. That's why it's very important to pick the coins with good fundamental good fundamentals behind it, or a good team. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. This is total 3. Came down to the 200, and we're making our way to 1.6 to 1.8 trillion. Looking pretty good. Russell 2000 is bullish. Total 3 is bullish. Still bullish on equities. I think it makes its way to 66. And DXY is bearish. Hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. I'll see you in tomorrow's live. Peace out. Take it easy. See you in the next one.